What's up guys, it's your favorite QB coach. Welcome back to another TrackMan reaction video. This is going to be the infamous TrackMan Maestro and his partner at the time, Grant Waite. I don't know if they're still partners, so if they are still partners, I apologize, but at the time they definitely were partners. They're doing a great video. So without further ado, let's go do this thing. So welcome back to the channel guys. You guys are new to QB Golf Japan. We do a bunch of videos like this every single week. So what you got to go do is hit that little red subscribe button. Smash the like button. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about the concepts discussed in this video. I think they're really beneficial for a lot of you guys out there. And as always, hit that little bell notification. You guys will get notified every single time we drop a video. So before we get into the video, let's go over the main concept. So I kind of talked about it a little bit there in the intro, but the main concept is going to be angle of attack and how angle attack could potentially make you want to align differently, and should it too as well. Those are kind of the two concepts we're really talking about. I'm going to let this video play through a little bit. We're going to skip a little bit around this video because not all the points here are going to be really applicable to what I'm trying to get across here. But let's start off with the intro and then we're going to react from there.
Hi, my name is Joseph Mayo, and I'm here today with my teaching partner, longtime PGA Tour player Grant Waite. And in this short video, we're going to discuss angle of attack and how it could and oftentimes should change where you're aimed. Now Grant, when we're dealing with the angle of attack, specifically with the driver, it presents a unique scenario. The ball's on a tee, therefore we can hit up, we can hit down, or we can hit level.
And just a little side note, you can also do the same thing with an iron. It's just if you hit up quite a bit with irons, you're probably either going to duff the ball, right, because you're going to bottom out behind the ball, or you could also almost thin the ball, right? But you could technically, I've seen players hit the ball solid with a 1 degree up angle of attack with irons. But he is correct, off a tee, it's much easier to have, you can hit up on it quite a bit more, and you can also shift your down, and you can really just play around with it to as much as you almost want. So that's not really pertinent to this video though, so let's continue.
So based upon hitting up, down, or level, how can that change where we should aim?
Well, if we're talking in terms of our visual representation here, if we have a Ferris wheel that's rotating on this 90-degree or vertical axis here, so it's going all forward.
Okay, so what they're about to start getting into is a little bit of D-plane, and they're talking about how if you were on a 90-degree swing plane, which is almost impossible, but if you were, the amount of, whenever you're basically swinging like this, your club head is not going outwards this way, or it's not also going inwards, right? Because it's swinging on a 90-degree plane. Now, if you took that 90-degree plane and you tilted it like this to, let's say, 45 degrees, and now that it's moving around in this fashion, when you are going downwards like this, you're also moving outwards towards the golf ball. So hence, whenever you swing down on the golf ball, that club head is moving out to the right relative to kind of your swing direction, which they're going to explain here. I'm going to skip ahead to kind of get to that part. And then if you're hitting up on the golf ball, that club head is moving in relative to your swing direction. Again, that's because you're on an inclined plane. Specifically in this video, they're also talking about driver, so it's going to be roughly around a 45-degree swing plane. Let's. I'm going to play this through. I'm going to skip a little bit just because there's some really important parts here after they get through this little explanation here.
Forward and down. So it's missing one of the dimensions. So what you're really seeing is the direction of your swing when you're drawing all those lines. You're not really seeing the path, because the third dimension is the outward that has been created by the...
Okay, so what he just talked about there was with the 2D camera from the down the line view. When you see a player kind of move maybe a little bit of the over the top or a little bit of the underneath the plane, what you're seeing there is really called swing direction, right? Swing direction is measured at the lowest point of the swing arc, as well as you can kind of see swing direction from knee high to knee high. You can see the direction of the golf swing there. They're saying that that's not club path, because again, club path is measured at the moment of maximum compression. It's a specific time. And because you have a 2D camera, you're not really seeing, it's hard to see the out movement as well. So it's really hard to kind of see how, even if it appears like he's a little over the top, could he still have an in-out path? It's kind of hard to see that. That's what they're explaining here. So this is going to kind of foreshadow or lead into, if you do have, let's say, maybe a downward path, you should be aligning this way, or if you have an upward angle attack, maybe you should be leading this way. This is kind of why they're talking about this. It's going to lead into the next subject here. I'm going to try to skip ahead until I get into where I really want to talk about in this video.
The downward.
And to draw the ball, we have decided through all of our teaching that a club path, which is approximately 4 degrees out, is a good solid club path to draw the ball reliably. So this
Okay, so what they just said there was they prefer to see, relative to the target line, a +4 club path. Now, under first impressions, I don't agree with this, but the way that they explain this a little bit later on the video is actually going to make sense to me personally, and I'm going to kind of talk about it here. But for now, we're just going to pencil that, but just remember, we're going to get back to that point because it's actually really important for a lot of you guys out there.
yellow rod signifies the club path, which is approximately 4 degrees out, because we have decided through all of our teaching that a club path of approximately 4 degrees is about right to reliably draw the golf ball. Okay, so the first student steps on the tee box. PGA Tour player, we put him on TrackMan and we measure his angle of attack to be 4 degrees down with his driver.
So the ramifications of that, we know that approximately for every 1 degree down, you're going to be hitting 1 degree out.
Okay, and then just to give a little bit more context with what they just said, for every degree down, you're going to have a 1 degree out. This is relative to a 45-degree swing plane, right? And again, swing plane is measured from a roughly knee-high to knee-high, and it's going to be kind of the angle of your club shaft. That's not technically correct, but that's an easy way to think about your swing plane. What angle are you on? This would be 45, this would be 90 degrees, right? This would be 0. That's kind of what they're talking about relative to swing plane.
So in this case, if he's hitting down 4 degrees with his driver, that's going to give us a path number of 4 degrees out or to the right.
Of his swing direction.
Of his swing direction, right? So what they're talking about there, again, with the 45-degree swing plane, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of swing direction relative to angle of attack. So to give you an example there, if you had a 0 swing direction and you're hitting down on the golf ball 4 degrees and you had a 45-degree swing plane, your club path would be 4 degrees into out, right? 4 degree into out, just to kind of give you a little example there.
So what you're saying is that tour player can stand here. Grant, if you'll address this, he can stand there with pretty much a zeroed out swing direction.
Yeah.
And the angle of attack is producing 4 degrees rightward path.
That's correct.
So he can aim theoretically at the target and draw the ball every time.
Perfect, and he should.
Yeah, and that what they're talking about there essentially is, now if you had that model player who was hitting 4 degrees down with a 45-degree swing plane and a 0 swing direction and a 4-degree club path, that player can aim at the target. Why is this the case? Well, if their club path is 4 degrees, and in this situation they want this player to hit a push draw, and let's say their club path was +2, what's going to happen is the golf ball's they're going to aim at the target line, or the target, the white line right there. The ball's going to start right at that target line and then draw back to the target, right? So in this example, this player could align to the target because of that. But they have another example here that's coming up. I think this will be an interesting one that you guys need to think about.
All right. So the next student, LPGA Tour player, we put her on TrackMan. She's hitting up 2 degrees.
Right, so we would say if she's hitting up 2 degrees, that means that the path is 2 degrees to the left of her swing direction. So if I was to say, okay, that's 2 degrees, for example.
Okay. And this is also assuming it's 2 degree up angle attack. This is assuming a 0 swing direction, and this is also assuming that that would be a -2 club path if those were met. Just make sure that you understand that, because that could be confusing.
Now we want her with a 4 degrees path to the right, so what does she do? She's got to aim 2 degrees to the right just to get back to straight.
So now what they're discussing here is, where should this type of player align to? So let me kind of give you guys the example. So if this player aligns straight to the target line with a 0 swing direction, a 45-degree swing plane, and a -2 club path, most likely the golf ball is going to want to start to the left of the target line relative to where she puts the face angle, right? If the face angle was +2 and she had a negative club path, the golf ball would obviously start right at the target and fade. But in this example, they're talking about how every single player wants to hit a draw, right? So because if she aimed at that target line, had her natural swing, she'd have a negative club path, and she got her face angle close to that club path, she'd be hitting a pull hook missing left of this white target line. Grant Waite is saying that she should first start by shifting her alignment about 2 degrees to the right of the target line. That's going to get her club path back to 0. However, if she gets the face angle close to that 0, the ball will still start left of the target line to draw. So what he's about to go say here is now she should be aiming another 2 degrees, if maybe even a little bit more, to give her a little bit of a cushion. Now she can get that facing will close because her club path will be +4, and then her facing will be closed out. She'll hit a push draw. And the reason why she went from a -2 club path to a +4 club path was because of her alignment, right? She still kept the same swing, but she aligned differently. And because the target line, which is where TrackMan is kind of pointing, did not shift with her, that is how her club path changed. That's a really important concept, and that's something where I think a lot of you guys don't quite understand. She's still making a swing that theoretically would be a negative club path swing, but because she's taking her alignment and shifting it relative to the TrackMan, which stay the same, it's now positive, right? And that's how they're teaching their players to hit a draw. What I usually talk about is I say that the reference line is, or the target line is a reference line, and that a player could just align to that reference line and then draw left of that, hit a pull draw relative to that. They're talking about the exact same thing I'm doing, except for they're just getting their player to align right, just like I would get my player who hits like a -2 club path, -4 facing will pull draw. I'd also get them to align right on the golf course. So we're talking about the same way, we're just saying it slightly different. But I think this is an important concept where a lot of you guys should be thinking about with your alignment. Anyways, I'm going to leave it off right there. I'm going to link that video down below. There's a lot of great information there. I think you guys should go check it out. If you guys want, also make sure you got to check it out. We have October Yokohama lessons. So if you want to get your swing analyzed on TrackMan, learn a little bit more about ball flight laws, all that good stuff, hit up the link below. There'll be a Google form. You can go sign up. Also, we have Osaka lessons. We have a flight scope that time. Same thing as TrackMan, and we can also do the same thing. Sign up for lessons. I'll see you guys again soon. We'll catch you in the next reaction video.